It is 7:15. Welcome back. Retired NASCAR driver and pilot Greg Biffle was not flying his jet when it crashed in December, killing him and 6 others. Investigators determined his private plane suffered multiple instrument and communication failures before crashing on approach to Statesville Regional Airport.
In a preliminary report, the NTSB says that while an experienced pilot was at the flight controls, no one else on board was qualified to be the required co-pilot.
Our chief transportation correspondent and pilot May Beeler joins us this morning to clear up maybe some confusion as to why, although there were multiple pilots on board, none of them were actually qualified to fly this particular kind of airplane, May.
Well, it's been determined the flight was illegally flown.
Wow.
It was not in compliance with regulations. So the NTSB made it clear that Jack Dutton, retired airline pilot Dennis Dutton's college-age son, was sitting in the co-pilot seat. Now, Dennis Dutton, a longtime Delta Airlines pilot, was in the left seat, serving as pilot in command. Now, Greg Biffle was sitting in the cabin behind their seats. According to FAA records, neither Jack Dutton nor Biffle had the right endorsement on their pilot's licenses to legally serve as co-pilot on that plane. And Dennis Dutton, although specially trained and type rated to fly this jet, was also not qualified to fly, and that's because his pilot certificate had a limitation, stating he must have a qualified second in command trained on that Citation jet by his side to serve as co-pilot. On this flight, there was none.
Wow. And again, this is a preliminary report,
yes.
So we are going to learn more,
and it could change.
So They all had pilot licenses. Why would that not qualify them? And what is a type rating?
So that's what everybody asked me. So that's what we want to clear up. So Jack Dutton was basically a new or low time, meaning he didn't have a whole lot of flight hours, private pilot with an instrument rating for single engine planes. He was not qualified to fly this twin engine jet. While Biffle was also a private pilot, he had more experience, more years of flying. He was multi-engine rated, but still lacked a type rating. So what is a type rating? That is required for a pilot to fly turbojet and or aircraft over 12,500 pounds. It involves advanced training, simulator training, ground school, flight school, written and practical tests and check rides. It is specialized training above and beyond the private pilot certificate.
Wow.
That's so sad. All right, so now that investigators have looked at this, have they determined what maybe the lack of the experienced and properly trained co-pilot? Do they think that was a key factor in this?
So they can't say that yet.
Okay.
Too early in the investigation. They may never say that. We may never know. So yes, this business jet required 2 specially trained pilots in the cockpit. Experts say if things go wrong without a properly trained pilot in the right seat serving as co-pilot, bad things can happen. Experts say, quote, the airplane might have been able to be landed safely if there were 2 qualified pilots up front flying the plane, end quote, end quote. All right, so the exact cause of the problems with this plane at this stage in the investigation is not clear yet, due to the conversation amongst the pilots being cut out at times due to problems with the cockpit voice recorder. The CVR captured only parts of their conversations, with Jack announcing on the radio, we're having some issues, problems here. All three noticed there were problems with gauges malfunctioning on the Cessna Citation jet before it crashed while trying to return to the airport.
Wow.
And again, this is early on, and things can change here, but we have plenty more in this investigation to talk about. And since there's a lot, we're going to bring you back
in the 9 o'clock hour.
Yes, to talk about this. So, but just sad stuff all around, May. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, May. 9:34. Retired NASCAR driver and pilot Greg Biffle was not flying his own jet when it crashed in December, killing him and 6 others. Investigators determined that his private plane suffered multiple instrument and communication failures before crashing on approach to Statesville Regional Airport.
In a preliminary report, the NTSB says that while an experienced pilot was at the controls, no one else on board was qualified to be a required co-pilot.
Chief Transportation Correspondent and pilot and flight instructor May-Kay Beeler joining us now to kind of clear up some confusion about this. We started talking about this about an hour and a half ago. We want to continue our conversation because what's kind of confusing on this particular flight is you had 3 licensed pilots.
Right.
But it's the specific type of ratings and the kind of pilot's license you needed for this plane, right?
Right. So none were required. None were qualified.
Yeah.
So the one at the flight controls, Dennis Dutton, all sorts of great experience, type rated, specific training for that flight, but didn't have a required co-pilot on board. So they weren't up to snuff. So the flight basically was illegal.
And Greg Biffle, he was sitting in the cabin behind these pilots, right? So
Right.
he did have his own license, which there was some confusion initially about, but perhaps was he flying the plane? And
Right.
NTSB so far is saying no.
Correct. So just to kind of go back to what you may have missed earlier, Dennis Dutton, retired Delta Airlines pilot, super experienced, was in the left seat, the pilot seat. In the right seat, the co-pilot seat, was his son, a college-aged private pilot, not qualified to be a co-pilot. Greg Biffle was sitting behind them. He's also a private pilot, not qualified to fly that sophisticated jet. So that's what we talked about earlier. So now we're going to talk about, was there a mechanical issue?
Yeah, because you were saying in, I guess, the initial NTSB report that there were some warnings, some instrument things that might have been happening before takeoff?
Could have been red flags, maybe should never have taken off. So a chain of unfortunate events. The report says a thrust reverser indicator light wasn't working, plus an anomaly with the engine gauges. The pilot took off anyway. Rather than pick up an IFR clearance on the ground, and I'll tell you what that means. That means that had they had that clearance, they could have flown in the clouds. And air traffic control would have separated them from other aircraft. But if you take off visually, you have to be clear of clouds, and then he'd have to pick up that clearance. There was a low cloud deck. So rather than pick up the IFR clearance on the ground, they decided, well, we'll wait till we get in the air and pick it up while dodging low clouds, because there was a low cloud deck. Perhaps entering the clouds with failing instruments. Well, if you're in the clouds and your instruments are failing, how are you going to keep the plane straight and level? All right, after becoming airborne, the pilot's altimeter and other essential flight instruments stopped working on the pilot's left side. And you need to understand, the pilot and co-pilot sit together, their instruments in front of the pilot and the co-pilot. They have redundant instruments. So Dennis Dutton decided to transfer the flight controls to his son. Okay, you're flying the plane. As I said, the plane has dual flight controls. Right side instruments, though, seem to work fine, but on the left side, they were not. So Biffle mentioned alternator. And after he said that, it is assumed that Dennis, the pilot, flipped a switch to turn on a generator. The pilot indicated then, oh, that's the problem. Communications were restored. All instruments seemed to be back online, but returning to the airport, the jet, for whatever reason, got too slow and low, resulting in the deadly crash. Why and how this happened will be determined in the final NTSB report to be released in about a year and a half.
Wow.
So do you think Greg Biffle knew, he obviously knew that the father and son, had some kind of pilot's license. Do you think he knew that it was an illegal situation based on the ratings and the type of license they had?
Well, as the owner and operator of the jet, he is legally liable and responsible to hire qualified pilots. So, you would think he would have known. We don't know. He's not here, God bless. And people who know him maybe know. The deal is, aviation isn't about sentiment. It's not. It's about safety. It's not about allowing a relatively inexperienced new pilot to sit illegally in a co-pilot seat. You can maybe understand that. Well, father and son flying together. This is a neat thing. Let them do it. But not for sentimental reasons. That doesn't cut it, because safety has to come first. So. The bottom line, it was not they were not compliant with the federal aviation regulations. It was an illegal and fatal operation. And this is so sad to say, because this is a public figure we all loved, fabulous person, did so many great things. It's hard for us to accept that a mistake like that was made. but this is for the NTSB to determine. We just know that none of those pilots were legal in that operation. Does that make sense? Did I
Yeah.
No,
clarify
yeah,
that?
no, absolutely. I think
Okay.
that there were lots of rumors swirling around about who's flying the plane, were they qualified? And so this initial report helps clear that up, but there's still a lot more to come out of that. So we're just going to get these updates little by little. So, May-Kay, thank you.
So they tell us what happened, the NTSB, but not why or how it happened. And
Right.
those answers will come in the final report. And remember, this is a preliminary report. It could change.
Right.
So what I just told you could change, right? This is just what the NTSB is reporting now. It's a hard pill to swallow, and we just send our blessings to the families and everybody involved.
Well, May-Kay,
Yeah.
thank you for that update.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.